shot heard round the wrestling world. Top rope takes every word unfurled. From dynamite to collision's flame, Ashlee and Shawn bring the pain to the game. We are here for the violence, ringing bells and defying silence. No fluff, no filter, just fire, fueling every mark's desire.
Well, amigos, if you heard that music, you know what day this is. This is Friday. Welcome to the start of your weekend here at the Dynamite Drop, powered by the Hub. And of course, the Hub is the center of Professional Wrestling Podcast universe and its three amazing shows. First, on Tuesdays, you have Straws Raw, Eric B, Randy C. They cover everything from Monday Night Raw. And of course, today, the best day, the best podcast host going today is just Ashlee and Shawn, the Dynamite Drop. And tomorrow, if you like some SmackDown news and reviews, you have Photograph out them, Brad the Dad, the Smack Daddies. Check all three shows out on your favorite podcast provider. Ashlee, we are south of the border this week for AEW TV, and we're from Arena, Mexico. How do you feel about the locale and the setup for the Dynamite episode?
I'll say, like, the venue, the atmosphere, and the locale was the best part of the show. I think, like, what a crowd! Like, amazing reaction. Would love to see some of the States crowds react this way.
You know, I kind of agree with you. It was a great venue, and a lot of people would probably say a mediocre or a meh, or like MJF would say a mid show.
Yeah, I saw it described online as kind of just solid matches, nothing standout, which is sort of unusual for like an AEW show, as there's usually an emphasis on the in-ring stuff. You know, going through it, stuff like Hangman's promo, stuff like Mystico's entrances, and stuff that those definitely are standout moments that you should definitely go out of your way to go check out.
We're going to start the show here with HangMan Adam Page. He comes down to the ring and he cuts this promo, basically laying out a challenge to Jon Moxley, and he's doing it entirely in Spanish. Now, Excalibur tried to translate for a little bit of it, but HangMan Adam Page was doing such a great job, Excalibur couldn't keep up.
An unknown talent of HangMan Adam Page here. And it wasn't a short promo either. It was in depth. There was a story he told. It was about 5 to 6 minutes. He said he wasn't that well versed in Spanish, but obviously it was well enough that it got reactions from the crowd.
It got great reactions from the crowd. So much, I do believe that CMLL may want this guy back as a top-level babyface when AEW doesn't need Hangman Adam Page in the promotion.
Oh, absolutely. I've already seen some reports that they're definitely interested in bringing him back around for some matches.
Okay, now I gotta ask you, Ashlee, the first match of the evening is the 14-man Kitchen Sink tag match. Like, everybody's in this match you could possibly think of. It's the Don Callis family versus the people who hate Don Callis from CMLL and AEW. Ashlee, was this an interesting match to start the show?
It's sort of strange for a couple of reasons. Atlantis Jr. and Sr. Getting booed out of the building? We've seen both of these guys a few times on AEW television as well. Both well received. Not so well received in their home promotion.
I want to chalk that up to the fact that maybe some of the talent from AEW that the fans hadn't seen lately were in this match, and maybe that was caused the thing to flip kind of reverse. You know how sometimes we talk about Bizarro World for a minute?
Yeah, I can definitely see a lot of people being, kind of partial to these superstars they might not get to see so often. But man, what a standout showing for like Brody King busting out a TRS in the middle of this match. Like, I did not see that coming. Where did this come from?
Okay, there's no way the laws of physics will allow this man to be able to do that, build that much of a hoss, and be able to be a freaking cruiserweight.
Absolutely. After his showing and presentation last night, Tony Khan, man, you have to think about giving him the C2. He's been in it every year. He's shown out every year. He's only gotten more and more over each passing showing. You gotta contemplate.
I agree with you. I do believe that. We've been saying this for like months now, Ashlee. We are fans of Brody King. We are on the Brody King band freaking wagon.
Oh, for sure. For sure. He looked phenomenal. And, I mean, just to see that athleticism just blew me away.
Well, this was interesting because the Don Callis family lost to the team of CMLL and AEW people against Don Callis' family. So I gotta say, this was a match for everybody to get on the card, so it was fine to start the show. Now the next match is where we get into gear, as we have another Okada versus Mark Briscoe match. Can we not get Mark Briscoe to get one victory here in this quasi feud?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not upset at the prospect of Briscoe and Okada going at it. It did seem a little strange. We've seen Briscoe and Kenny Omega sort of have each other's backs over the past few weeks with this stuff. Briscoe helping with Anarchy in the Arena and stuff like that. Like you said, though, it's tough to see Briscoe take another loss. We saw him take 2 really tough losses to Jon Moxley not that long ago, and to kind of come in and be sort of defending the honor of Kenny Omega and take another tough loss to Okada. I mean, no shame in losing to Okada for sure, but man, another tough loss for Mark Briscoe.
Exactly. He's a former Ring of Honor world champion underneath the AEW banner, and you would think he would be slightly up elevated in the card where he is, because he feels like mid card. He should be like main event. I don't think you can say he's upper main event. I feel like he's there at the mid card. Now, I'm happy Kenny Omega wasn't on the show. They're selling the injury from that attack from last week. How do you feel about that attack from last week?
I feel like it's kind of a bummer that it took Kenny Omega out of what could have been a pretty stellar moment for him. Having this moment in Arena Mexico.
True, I see that point, Ashlee. But I feel like it helps advance the story. We probably won't see Kenny Omega until we get closer to All In Texas.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I imagine so, especially with with how much blood there was.
Now, my favorite part of this match between Okada and Briscoe was the fact that Okada goes for his international salute, and Mark Briscoe decides, "Oh hey, let me take your hand," and I don't have my front teeth. He turns to his molars and bites the heck out of the finger. And Tony Schiavone doesn't miss a beat. He calls it.
Yeah, Tony Schiavone. I did want to give a little shout out to him because I saw he was one of the few announcers to kind of call from the Big Four, the Tokyo Dome, Wembley, Arena Mexico. So I mean, this is like really cool. And yeah, like you said, on top of it last night, and a Mark Briscoe moment for sure, because this is only he could pull that off.
Very true. So we're on to the third match of the evening. This is probably should have been the main event of the show, maybe. It's Mystico versus MJF. And last week, we were thinking, like, this is the moment where the Hurt Syndicate would get the F tired of a certain MJF and decide, why do we need this dude? But nope, not this time. He's still in the group. But it was an interesting disqualification here that allowed Mystico to have the victory over the all-American MJF.
Sure, not the outcome anybody was expecting. I feel like this does mean they do plan for something further in the future. But the highlight of this for sure is Mystico's entrance. Something that if you didn't watch the show, if you maybe aren't really anticipating watching the show, definitely seek this moment out regardless, because watching an entire arena sing Mystico's entrance and him to the ring was absolutely insane. It was so loud coming through the TV that at points Excalibur was sort of talking at certain points, and I could barely hear him on the microphone.
Well, I gotta say, the after-match shenanigans by the Hurt Syndicate allowed the crowd to fully hate on MJF as he rips off the mask of Mystico. He puts it on, and I felt like the ring was gonna come down on him.
Yeah, I feel like we keep saying MJF's gonna get his up and comings, but it hasn't happened quite yet. But I feel like it has to happen soon, especially with that.
There was news stories going around that after this event, a fan confronted MJF at the hotel, and I got a feeling that it had to do something with this. Now, according to the reports, MJF laughed it off. It wasn't a bad situation as it could have been, but like you said, Ashlee, eventually this gentleman is going to get the wrong kind of heat.
Yeah, it's tough. We need people to, obviously not be attacking people regardless. But, MJF does tend to push the envelope with some of his comments and things like that, for sure.
Oh, can you imagine him in the 1980s with like Jim Cornette as his manager?
Oh, Lord. We might not have wrestling anymore.
We may have wrestling, but it might be totally different from whatever we've seen in the last 30 years. So let's move on to match number 4. Now, Ashley, I got a question for you. What would he do with 4 million pesos?
I'm not sure.
And secondly, how did he get all this money for all these matches? Because it seems like every so often we get one of these matches where it's like a tag team match or a 4-way match, and the prize is this random number of money in the world. I'm waiting for Danhausen to come around to try to collect some monies.
There's a lot of prize money at stake in AEW. Seems like the place to be because they're just throwing out these prize money matches. I don't feel like an unexpected win by Hologram here, but man, what a showing for Ricochet again. I can't get over how good this guy is. Like why did he not work out? Like I don't understand.
I think Chris Jericho said it once at one time. It's like bad ideas from poor creative, and I feel like his time in WWE was a lot of bad ideas from poor creative because this guy, kind of like Timeless Toni Storm, has slid over to AEW and have found a new leaf on life.
Yeah, he's been fantastic, and I can't get over how good this character has been. And on top of his in-ring stuff, man, he made everybody look great last night.
With Hologram's victory, we move on to match number 5. It's for the CMLL Women's World Championship. Mercedes Moné versus Zenith. And now Mercedes Moné is a international belt collector. I do believe she's up to Moné 6 belts.
Yeah, I don't feel like a very surprising outcome here. We've seen this Mercedes, Moné belt collecting going on for quite a bit here. I'm not a big fan of the slot they had here for the ladies, and that this was their only match on the show. And I just want to say, I do hope Zeuxis is okay. She did take kind of an awkward landing on a dive to the outside. It seemed to be sort of limping off after the match. Hopefully, all good though. I haven't seen any reports to say she was like injured or anything, so just keeping our fingers crossed she's okay.
Very true, down deep. Now we get a video package after this match as we see a Hollywood story vignette going on, and where in the world is Timeless Toni Storm?
Cosplaying as one of my 90s shows that I used to watch, Carmen Sandiego. Man, I'm so excited for this match. I have a feeling you may be right. I have a feeling Mercedes Moné may be the women's world champion when all is said and done. But man, Toni Storm, she is truly just almost beyond this title at this point.
Well, I do say this segment here, we see Mercedes Moné look towards the ring entrance and to get surprised to see Mayor Kyle on top of it. And we just see a body in a red trench coat and a hat and basically kissing the side of Mercedes Moné as she is freaking out like she just had Freddy Krueger right behind her.
Yeah, I mean, probably some pretty good reason for Mercedes to freak out. She's been testing Toni over the past few weeks for sure.
So, kind of interesting. We only had 6 matches on the night here on this 2.5-hour episode of Dynamite, but we're up to the main event. And wait a minute, main event and Beast Mortos is in the main event?
What a week for Beast Mortos, huh?
Let's see. He is now dating Mercedes Moné. Check. Main event. Check.
In Arena, Mexico.
Check. And oh, by the way, his team won the match. Check.
Right. Crazy. I genuinely assumed Beast Mortos was sort of put there, to take the loss.
Oh, come on. Everybody who saw this match in the lineup looked at the people in this match, fed a sum of money on Beast Mortos taking the pinfall, and the house collected a ton of freaking money. That's where they got the 4 million pesos from.
Yeah, truly. But what a standout. He looked great. Again, Beast Mortos comes out and gets over instantly with the crowd.
Okay, so we get towards the end of the match. We see Jon Moxley kind of slip to a victory, rolling up first Switzerland. Here comes HangMan Adam Page down to the ringside to help the baby faces. And did he quote unquote accidentally hit a young buck, or was he intending to hit a young buck?
Honestly, I'm gonna say Matthew Jackson has had this coming since like 2019. So it's all deserved. It's all deserved.
I guess the baby faces here having this little moment. I do believe that we are assembling the Suicide Squad to have blood and guts at All in Texas, and this is the start of HangMan Adam Page finally joining the baby faces officially, and we had this kind of not, I don't want to say half-hearted, maybe like begrudgance, like Strickland and Heyman going like, I still don't like you. You don't still don't like me, but we hate the Young Bucks.
Meh. I mean, I could even see them if Swerve is going to stay babyface and Hangman stays babyface. I could see like just a respect thing. They move on beyond it now, especially if they have to work together to take out the Young Bucks. Because as much as people think as weaselly as they are good, and they will pick up a victory if you're not paying attention or you're infighting.
I agree with you. So, seeing this first taping from Arena Mexico, Ashlee, how excited are you for AEW Collision coming up this weekend?
I'm very much looking forward to it. I know it's been recorded. I have yet to check out any spoilers or to see anything. I usually tend to stay away if possible, but very much looking forward to it. Even discussing it, like kind of being like a little, the matches just being sort of solid, but the atmosphere, the location, the audience and the atmosphere and everything being great. I'm just hoping that this will open the door for some more future shows down there. Maybe we can get a little more solid work back and forth between TMLL and AEW and build some more solid storylines like we do with New Japan and stuff like that for Forbidden Door. But something like a Forbidden Door in Arena Mexico sounds really cool.
Yes. If anybody at AEW is listening, Forbidden Door in Arena Mexico would be, like you said, amazing. That would be a money-making machine that's running there to press money. Do that, please, and thank you. Now, before we end this show here, we do want to take time to pay our condolences and respects to the grandfather of Will Ospreay, as Will Ospreay went onto his Twitter account saying that as he landed in Mexico, he got a notice that his grandfather passed away. We here at the Dynamite Drop, Ashlee and Shawn, along with every member of the Hub Sports Entertainment Network, want to express our deepest condolences to the Ospreay family.
Yeah, absolutely. Very tough and even rougher to get the news like just as you're about to do something like Will Ospreay was about to do, like to go out in front of all of these people. So like thanks to him for like going out and still performing and everything, and like you said, condolences to his family, and hopefully he'll get time to go home and take care of things, and we'll see him back in a few weeks when he's ready.
Do us a favor, get onto Will Ospreay's social media accounts and pay your respects to his family and him over the course of this weekend. We will see you next week right here on the Dynamite Drop. Ashlee, tell us where we can find you on the Super Information Superhighway.
I'm on Blue Sky, and the account is at groovyash.bsky.social.
And of course, you can follow this show on Twitter and Instagram at The Dynamite Drop. Have a great wrestling weekend, everybody.